Easter's right around the corner. Are you ready? See you guys inside while we make this and some eggs today. Hello and welcome to today's video. As you saw in the intro, we are going to make a nice handy Easter egg basket. Now this guy was this very simple print, but I also threw in some solid Easter eggs just for the fun of it. So basically we're doing another 2-for-1, all focused around Easter, or it doesn't even have to be Easter for these baskets. It can be holiday or anything. But this one I used Rainbow PLA from Inland. As you can see, that's why I've got such a nice color gradient. I printed this one on a CR-10, but I also did one on an Ender 3. Now the eggs, they're kind of an oops. So I printed them, but they were supposed to have kind of cool, quirky things like rabbit ears or a chicken foot sticking out of it. Unfortunately, that failed during the print, but we still have some beautiful stuff to work with. So, because these Easter eggs, while they have nothing in it, it's better than using a real edible Easter egg. You can go hide this and reuse this many years in a row. So, and this was also the same filament. So we'll hop over to the computer, we'll slice these two models, and we'll get them over to the printer. To print these, I used a CR-10 V2, but these models will easily fit on an Ender 3 or something along those lines with the 250 build plate or higher. So, kind of one of those things. Again, Inland PLA. But before we hop over to the computer, if you like the content you see on this channel or want to learn more about 3D printing, hit that subscribe button. Join the crew as I do all kinds of videos, whether it's how to print something or modifications for certain printers. So, and how to make your printing easier, quicker, and just honestly more successful. So, I appreciate it. If you guys wouldn't mind sharing the channel with friends, colleagues, people that are interested or might be in the hobby, I'd really appreciate it. And, you know, let's hop over to that computer and let's get started printing. Alright guys, here we are at the computer and I've got Cura pulled up. So what we're going to do is we're going to get the files on here. Now I'm going to start with the Easter basket. So this was a really cool file. I've already downloaded it. I'm going to pull it into Cura here. And as it pops in, so here's the basket. Now this was awfully small to me, so I actually printed mine at 300%. So I wanted a fairly good size one. We'll get that up on the build plate by zeroing out our Z. And there we go. But there was a caveat to this. Either there is a structural weakness here, or I didn't have enough support. You'll actually see in the time lapses where the print actually fails and the handle falls off. Now, not a horrible catastrophe if the handle falls off, because what you can do, and I'll demonstrate this, is pull another basket in, pop him up to 300% as well. And I'm going to turn it. If I had known this before I printed it, I would have done this, but I didn't know. And then drop the rest of the basket below the build plate so you get just the handle. So now what will happen, you drop it just a tad bit more, is the handle will print alongside. But you could also up your support. And I am now using Cura 4.8. If you guys follow me on Instagram, you saw that I got a brand new Zydex PC. And you can do overhang angle. I usually do 80%. You probably needed this around 50% to get good support. So we'll slice this real quick, which this is far faster slicing than what it used to be. But this is a fairly big project, and there's a lot of support needed, as you can see from all the red as the project builds up. And we've sliced. And here we go. Let's look at the preview and see how much support it gives us. And see, this was more support than what I had. So you guys will see the failure, but this should print fairly well. And if you're concerned about being too small here, increase your raft size. So I printed on a raft. I didn't care what the bottom looked like. I don't care what the bottom of this looks like. So the raft just kind of gave me more build area. So plate adhesion, you can pop that out to 10 or 15. Yes, it uses more material, but I'm also testing a material that will come up in a future video that I'm kind of testing out to see if it is worth an investment of helping keeping things adhered to my build plate. But I've also made some changes in my Cura
settings that I think were also causing me the problem of not being able to hear directly to my glass. But as you can see, the raft is now larger. You've got more build area, and you've got support all the way around. So you can have a lot of waste material from the outer support. But what's the one thing that I say about support material and material like that? Look at it. After you pull it off, if it's in one piece and it's usable for something else, whether you're kit bashing for tabletop gaming or something like that, this may not be something you throw away. So kind of keep that in mind. Also, I had a stringing problem with this one because my retraction was set too low. And it was my fault. I missed the setting. The setting had actually, retraction actually got turned off. And my setting was down, and so none of the settings applied. So you'll see stringing in this video, unfortunately. But really cool thing about getting rid of stringing that I have learned and actually tried this. I took a heat gun to it, and it melted most of the stringing right off, and that was kind of nice. So you could do this with a torch or a heat gun. Just don't be careful that you don't actually melt your model. But it did kind of help, especially with very thin stringing. It did help me get my product back into a position that I actually could use. So those are the two Easter baskets. This is what I had to do it. Of course, they're in two separate prints because this failed before I realized it. Before I realized I needed the second print. So that's why you're seeing this piece. I'm just showing it all in one. That way, if you want to print both pieces at the same time, you actually can. But I did notice, even trying to glue it on, it was a very weak point right here. So I'm wondering if it's maybe part of a flaw of the model. I'm not entirely sure what's actually going on there. By Thatch. So we want to make sure we give Thatch credit for making this awesome model. So now let's talk about part 2. Whoops, that's not something you guys need to see yet. Let's get Kira open back up and let's take a look at these Easter eggs. And you'll see I also failed on these. So even though I print a lot, I still fail a lot too. It's just the name of the game. So this one, all 9 eggs are in a file. So what you can do is you can actually take this in a mesh mixer and break it up. I tried to just print it all. And you guys saw I only got 5 or 6 out of it. I was able to salvage the back 6. The front 3, they fell apart during the print. So if I were to ever do this again, I would go in a mesh mixer and get them individualized so I can print them. So these are a normal size. These are the size you saw on there. The bottom creates a problem because there's such a minimum point of contact and you're going upward. I do recommend a fairly high amount of support here. So when I did mine, I actually jumped my support down to 50 because I want to support a very strong met because I don't want them getting knocked over. So we'll slice this real quick with that support, see if it's enough. And of course, links are down in the description for all of this, as well as Amazon links for the printers and materials that I used. So feel free to kick into that, guys. Every little bit helps this channel keep going, so I do appreciate that. All right, oh, we're done. Preview. You can see it's giving it a good base. And it's giving those ears a good base. I think my density 1 is too low. But also, if you take a look, like this middle one has no support. And when you run into that, what you can do is go over here and go to custom support and add more support that you feel is needed. It doesn't look great right there. But if you feel like those points need extra support, you can add it outside of the support that's already been added on there. And it doesn't take away from the integrity of your model at all. Get those 2 little feet as well. So that's an additional thing is you can add the custom supports to get your model ready to go. So we've got the 2 models, we've got them sliced. Let's head over to the printer and let's see those time lapses, and I will catch you guys on the other side.
All right, guys, so that's just a simple Easter idea on how to get around and get started for your Easter with a Easter egg basket, so you don't have to buy it and can reuse it many years in a row, but also it's specialized and you made it for someone. That's just awesome, right? It's a thought that counts. Boom, right there. So the Easter eggs, like I said, they're just fun. Just a little added bonus to make it even better. So again, if you guys like the content you saw on this channel, hit that subscribe button, join the crew. I really do appreciate it. If there's something you want to see printed or you have questions about 3D printing, leave that comment down below. I love questions. So let's get those questions flowing. Let's get those comments flowing, or your guys' input. And if there's something like you'd like to see me try to print, comment down below as well. And again, share the channel. I do appreciate it. And we will see you guys next time.